even if I have to drag my ass like across the finish line, which I basically did, and I got everything I wanted plus more. Success leaves clues. Like you really just gotta see it through.
Doing this for a long time.
Win is a win for that day only. People will get over it, and I really just try to stay like grounded and not let it like get to my head, and just think like what the greats do, like back to work on Monday.
You might be the one that has like the most podcast features so far.
Call me like the Broken Instruments resident.
I think this is like your fourth time on the podcast.
Something like that.
Yeah, because we've had a group one with my brother, but that first one I remember we were talking about just fitness and the art of shaping your body, your mentality, and stuff like that.
Right, dude. A lot has changed for sure.
And I think the third time we talked about the first time you won Muscle Icon.
Right.
What year was that? 2020?
2021, yeah.
And then now it is September of 2022. And this is post 2 shows this past summer.
Yes, sir.
And you took home the gold, as I expected you would.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for the support always, especially with the family. Definitely couldn't have done it without all you guys for sure. But yeah, these like 2 past wins like are so much sweeter. Just the matter of fact, like what I had to go through from like starting to finish, like how much it like tested me like physically, mentally, emotionally, and really just like embracing the struggle and trusting in the process and just powering through no matter what, like against all odds, and really just seeing it through. That's all it was.
Yeah. It's funny because we talk already, like we've been talking, we caught up, and for sure it kind of led to what we wanted to talk about for the podcast, as far as mindset and like elevated level, not just like higher level, but more of like deeper, different perspective. I think last time you were on, we talked a lot about being a cleaner, being like the ultimate warrior type of competitor, and how to take wins. The craziest thing is like we haven't really caught up. Like when you were going through your whole process, you know, I know when someone goes dark, and I think I would text you that. Like I know when a warrior gets silent, it's one of those like watch out, stay out of his way, man, because I know for sure war is coming, a battle is coming, or they're in battle, and those times that we were able to catch up, it was all like I can see you on your path, and I'm excited to see, you know, the battle you're about to win, if anything. But we've kind of been on our own. Like obviously, like everybody knows, like we had big family changes on my side, being on our own paths, but then coming back together to catch up about it. It amazes me because we're on totally different planes as far as like what you're doing and then like what I'm doing. But what I always realize is when a warrior is on his path and we cross each other in the path, and we're all on the path to getting better, to being greater people in our circles, to ourselves, to the world around us, we have so much that we relate about, you know? And it's like so many different types of battles. Yours is very clearly different than what I'm doing. Like you're on stage, you're being judged at the ready. Like you're building up yourself, your body to one moment where you're at peak physical condition, peak aesthetics. But then when we talk, it's so much deeper than that, you know? And I think we've always talked about the mentality that we have, like about going past the cleaner that Tim Grover uses as his ultimate competitor, the unstoppable man. There's so much more than that. And I think this time around, what you were explaining to me, you were coming in already as a fitness coach.
Right.
What was the transition then? Because, you know, after your other win, last time we talked on the podcast, when did you start coaching? And like, what was your perspective coming into coaching again?
So I started officially coaching like in person. I started working at UFC gym in Torrance. So I started that back in February, and you had to get the certification to make it an official like UFC coach. So they go through like a rigorous, like kind of like a boot camp for like a whole week, do these like crazy, like military style, like CrossFit, like workouts.
Oh wait, you had to do it to qualify to coach?
Basically, yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's kind of like
I appreciate
unofficial,
that. Cool.
like hazing almost.
Yeah, got it.
But yeah, not really, but kind of. So yeah, we did that. It was like a week long event, and you kind of have to, on the last day, it's almost like a 4 hour long workout. And by the end of the day, I almost burned like 4,000 calories. Like that's a type of intensity that we were going at. And of the 60 coaches that were like from Southern California, only 3 of them didn't pass. So yeah,
shoot.
I was lucky enough to make it through, of course. So shout out to
it's
my
not,
clients. You know, your coach got what it takes.
it's not luck at that point, right?
Yeah. So making the shift from like coaching and then going into competitive mode. So it definitely is like a flipping of like the mindset for sure, going from working to competing, because you have to tackle on a lot of other obligations. So you have to think about your meal planning, prepping, and still managing to get your cardio in, your actual workouts, and still manage to get like 6, 8, sometimes even 10 sessions like in a day. So I have to really be on top of my time management. A lot of times I kind of like space out like the workout, really just get it when I can. But I really try to like block out at least like 2 hours just for me to get the workouts in. And then I'll even be eating like mid training a client and stuff. So I'll be chicken and rice, like, okay, give me 2 more reps. You got this. And, like just chewing like my food down, all that stuff. So whatever it takes, man. Like it's tough for sure, but I was ready for the challenge. And I never done a prep like as a fitness coach. So a lot of times like I was just like doing like my job that didn't really require me to be in the gym like all day. So I had the luxury of like spacing out my meals properly, taking my time with my workouts. So this one is really just whenever I can get it, just get it in.
Yeah. You weren't worried about so many other people while you were prepping that last time you were competing. So it's just adding on top of all that. Like you said, like you have to manage your time to the point of like you're trying to be a good example for these people, of course, trying to relay your knowledge, but also push them. That can only be draining, dude. Like as a nurse educator, like I know what it takes to really push somebody. And more than that, you have to be the person that doesn't need to be pushed. So it shows them an example, you know?
Yeah, and to add to what you were saying too, this is the first time I actually had my first like competitor that wanted to compete.
Yeah.
So he was a client of mine. So we're basically doing the same thing, like going through all the motions together, teaching him like my mindset, the meal timing, getting the workouts in and all that. So it was my first time having clients to train, a competitor client, and still like managing to compete myself. So it was definitely a tall order, but definitely came out on top and like learned a lot more on being a better coach, being a better competitor, and really just no excuses, man. Like you really want results. Like we all have the same amount of time like in the day. You really want it, just make it happen. Yeah. There's no other way around it. Just do it.
That's the thing. Like when you're tasked to teach or coach somebody or push them, it's hard because you're trying to explain who you are and you're trying to motivate them to be someone with the mindset that you kind of have already. When I call like something above the cleaner, like I call them a craftsman. I call them like, you know, there's like a saying like those that can't do teach. And, you know, being an educator, I fully believe now that you have to be like the best doer in order to teach and to really help someone implement whatever you're trying to create for them. And I call them a craftsman because there are tools that you use to get like the results that you want, right? And to me, like especially if someone's going through something or they want to accomplish something similar to you, you create tools for other people. So whatever like tool that I create that works for me, it might not necessarily fit this person, but I had to craft a different tool that they could use in order for them to complete their journey to accomplish whatever that is. As an educator, like it's not only creating tools, but teaching them how to use it on their own when you're not there. So I'm sure it was a challenge. Like when you're not with your clients 24/7. You're there, you're with them for a session, and obviously they can contact you.
Right.
How do you teach the discipline that you have? How do you relay that to them so that they could be disciplined to the point of when you're not there, coach isn't there to watch you, but they're still making the right decisions?
If my clients are listening, like, you guys know this already, like, I not only like walk the walk, but I talk the talk too, you know, like, so vice versa, whatever.
Yeah.
But I really try to like be the example, and we're literally going through the same journey together. So whatever experience I'm going through, they're going through it at the same time. And what I try to do is just like bring that energy that they need every day and be that coach that they need, whether it's like a life coach moment, be a therapist, be their cheerleader, shoulder to cry on sometimes, to be very honest.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I'm just like wearing a lot of hats and really just trying to be in the moment and really like see and assess like, okay, what does this client need from me at this moment? Like, do they need to be pushed? Do they need that extra like pep in their step, or do they want me to like really go David Goggins on them, you know? So it's really just case by case, and I really just try to like we talked about in like past episodes, like being fully present in the moment, and that's something that I really try to hold on to, and I really try to have like a good relationship with all my clients. Like, a lot of them I can actually call friends first, then clients now.
Nice.
So I really put the relationship first and really cater to like their needs, and really just push at the right moments, pull back when I need to. And it's really just like listening.
Yeah.
Listening more than speaking. Like, we have 2 ears, 1 mouth, use them accordingly.
Dude, the first time you were on the podcast, we were talking about how to build that relationship with your client. And what you're describing right now, we're talking about having good rapport with them, because you know when you sign up for something like that, or you ask for a coach or something, there should be a moment where you understand, like, all right, this person's going to push you, and we're going to have difficult conversations. For one, we need to be open first.
Right.
And they have to be ready for you to call them out. If you're feeling some vibe from them, or if you're feeling like they're not giving what they can, it's not just to like yell at them and shit, but it's almost to, like you said, ask them, like, what's going on? Is everything okay?
Ask questions. Yeah.
And being fully present, man, I can totally relate when, like, even today, if my students are watching this, man, even today, like, it's like approaching midterm in their program, and you can just feel the vibe. And I think people need to learn to be good at reading the room.
Right.
Here I am, like, you know, prepping them for their day. They're about to hit the floor. Things that they should worry about. And then you can just tell in their face. They're just like, okay, yeah. But they're like, they're tired.
All the time.
Yeah, they're not with it. They're kind of like, all right, yeah, just going through the motions. And it is important to take time to say, all right, pause. Everybody just chill right now. Is everything okay?
Right. Yeah.
And it takes someone.
We're all humans at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, I know they're paying me to get their fitness to another level.
Yeah.
Improve their health. But I know, like, when on the days like they want to be pushed, and days where like they had a rough day, you know. So I really just try to like just be present. Like, I keep repeating it, you know.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's funny because it sounds so cliche, but like, in order to be fully present, it's the energy, feeling the energy of the room, feeling just the energy of somebody when they walk into the room. They don't have to say a word, but being a good coach, being a good teacher is understanding that, dude, everybody's riding waves, and you're riding your waves. And there's days you don't even feel like being there either. I think there's days you told me like you're working more than 12 hours. I think you did like a 14-hour day or something.
Yeah. And that's kind of like the norm.
Is that normal?
Yeah. Pretty much that's like Monday through Thursday.
So then how do you stay on point? Because everybody's riding their waves, and then here you are trying to be and emulate the example, to be the coach. There's days you don't want to be there, or you wake up and you go to work and you actually feel good. By 7 hours in, halfway through, you're probably scarfing down your meal. Here's the next client. What's your strategy to just snap back in and start working with this person?
Just stay like I just always like revert back to the goal. So So like we haven't mentioned like on the episode yet, but yeah, I was basically competing like to step on stage, one for like defending my title for Muscle Icon. And then the week after, I committed to doing the San Diego NPC show for the Pacific USAs. So no matter what, like whether I have a good day or a bad day, I know that's the goal. So whatever it is, I just gotta buck up and just, hey, this is what you wanted, right? So let's stick with it. And there were like a lot of highs and lows. And I know that no matter how hard it gets, like, which it will, you just gotta be ready for anything. And I know when it comes to like competing, like I have an idea like what to expect already. So you kind of feel like it's like familiar like territory. But at the same time, if you're trying to level up, it's gonna feel a lot harder before you actually do finally level up. And boy, it definitely, like I felt it for sure.
Yeah.
So I basically did a 16-week prep, and the first like 6-8 weeks like went like very smoothly, and I kept like a lot of my strength. Like I was looking like full. Didn't feel like I was really like prepping as hard as I could, but I was getting the results I was needing to be at. And that last like 4 to 6 weeks, that's where I really kicked it into high gear. So I went from 1 hour cardio sessions, then I upped it to hour 15, then hour 30, and then still keeping the same intensity on the lifts, having heavier sessions like earlier in the week, more volume later in the week. So really keeping the strategy of trying to manipulate the body to what I want it to look like. Really create that V taper, that X frame that I was looking at. And most especially this time around, like I'm not just doing men's physique anymore. I was looking to do my classic physique debut.
That's right.
Which I was going to do for both Muscle Icon and NPC. And the legs, they matter now. So I really got to like keep it like strong, keep it full. And boy, like the last like 4 to 6 weeks, so like really tested me. Like I think I probably went a little too hard, like as far as strength goes in the first half. Like I was still keeping a lot of strength. I was able even to hit like a PR, like on my squat, training with my buddy Hector. And I was
on prep.
Yeah, I was able to do a 405 squat on a deficit.
Yeah.
For I think like 2 or 3 times, and I've never been able to do that like before, like on a prep. So big shout out to him for like helping like push me for sure. Like having that gym partner, that right one, kind of like how Arnold and like Franco Colombo, like that 1-2 punch, like they really needed each other. And definitely like he's been like a game changer, like being like affiliated with him. So, and then going back into the last like 4 to 6 weeks, knowing that I have to like kick it back into high gear. And once I knew that 30 days out like was coming, I was telling myself, okay, no rest days. So that last 30 days, training 7 days a week, doing 90-minute plus cardios a day.
Per day. Every day.
Getting my sessions in with my clients, getting my meals in. So it was rough for sure. And then I ended up like injuring myself like a little bit on my left knee, and it was tough. I had like crazy like inflammation. It was like probably like the size like a golf ball. Like I couldn't even bend my knee like fully. And I know I still have to do like my leg workouts, because doing classic, you know, you really got to like have the legs like to show up on stage. And man, doing those 90-minute cardio sessions like with that inflamed knee was no fun. But I just thought back to the warrior mode, you know, and really just like embracing your dark side, because like that's energy on its own. And one can't live like without the other. Light can't live without dark. And I kept just looking to my idols, which were like Kobe, like David Goggins, Tim Grover, whatever like other athlete that you may look up to. And one of like the biggest moments that like Kobe had was when he tore his Achilles. And he managed to walk back on the court, sink 2 free throws, and walk back to the bench. And I was watching an interview with Tim Grover, and he was saying that the moment that happened, when Kobe like wanted to like walk on his own, not have any help from anyone else, that was the moment his rehab started. because it was the mental like toughness that he needed to really push, like, okay, this isn't going to beat me, I'm going to beat this. And really just like, it's going to be emotional, just like like going back to those like the last few weeks.
And mind you, this is an internal battle that no one else will see.
No.
And that's, to me, that's the most important part, because it's easy to be motivated when people are watching you and you could talk about this like openly. But when you're in your warrior's path, it's very lonely.
Yeah.
And no one, and like, dude, people at the gym, obviously they respect you. They see you doing your thing. And you don't even have to tell them like what you're really going through. When Kobe did that, everyone's like, damn, he's badass or whatever. But if his interviews, he explained what was going on in his head. And afterwards, it was very emotional because he was finally saying like, fuck, like I'm pissed. But it's the internal battle that people are afraid of, because it's hard to suck things up and to deal with your emotions, especially when no one knows you're going through it. And that's probably why you're getting emotional, dude.
Yeah.
And because I've been there, and it's like, it feels like no one's there, but as a warrior, you have one purpose, and it's almost like, when do I lock that up? Which brings me to the things that we talk about. There's a level up over a craftsman. Like, there's one thing special about creating tools and giving tools to people. I created this tool and it helps somebody achieve greatness, whatever it is. But to do it over and over again, you can only create so many tools. And I would always ask myself, what is the greatest thing I can create? And especially if there's let's say a door that I've never opened and no one's ever unlocked this door. Mm-hmm. It's territory you've never been to, no one else has been to, emotionally, spiritually, whatever. I told myself, like, you can't just create a tool and just axe a door down. If you really want to do it well, you got to create a key. And that's why I always told myself the locksmith was the ultimate being, because now you know when to lock up your emotions. You create locks and keys. I know when to lock up my emotions to get things done. I know when people depend on me, like I'm in front of my clients or I'm in front of my family, my loved ones. I know when to unlock my emotions and not be super cold. Because I think that's what turned people off about the cleaner sometimes. Like Tim Grover's cleaner is like, hard ass, like asshole, straight up dark mode, like F the world, I'm going to get mine. Like the ultimate competitor. I don't know. I don't feel like, especially as a person like, that we grew up believing in, the well-rounded man, the guy that shows up for people when it counts, when it really counts, letting go of your emotions when you want to get things done, but also knowing that your emotions are powerful. Mm-hmm. When you explain that to me, and even up to like from the knee injury to walking on stage, where it's like, I've been here before, there was a moment where you even explained it to me, and it resonated with the locksmith mentality. It was like, you got to know when to lock up your emotions and not let your emotions get the best of you. Now, I'm not saying to stifle them so that you can explode. It's releasing them and unlocking them at the right time. Mm-hmm. And when you got to get shit done, lock them up, Yeah. And when you, like, I think it's funny because, like, no one sees that and how emotional it can be to bottle up. Very emotional. And to not be able to release it.
Giving your all, that means, like, everything.
Yeah.
Dude, like there are so many times, like, that last few weeks, like, I just wanted to throw in the towel. Like, is this really worth it? Is this really what I want? Just, like, questioning all my, like, life decisions. And I even remember, like, the podcast we did last year after I won. I told myself, like, whether this kills me or not, like, it'll be worth it. Yeah. So I can't go back on that, Like, I really just got to, like, power through and really just, like, even if I have to drag my ass, like, across the finish line, which I basically did, just do the best you can. And that's exactly what I did. And I got everything I wanted plus more.
Yeah.
And it just shows, like, when you really just, like, commit and give it, like, your all, like, as cliche as it sounds, like, it really is true. People say it for a reason. Like, success leaves clues. Like, you really just gotta see it through. And I was having a conversation with a friend yesterday, and, like, they're asking me, like, kind of like mindset stuff. And that last few weeks, I was just telling myself, like, subconsciously, like, I don't want to be the me, like, my early 20s, where, like, I was trying to, like, figure out what I wanted to do in life, try something out and then not finish it.
Yeah.
And I really just wanted to see this through and not be that person anymore. Really just want to embrace like my struggle and really commit to this goal of mine. Like I said, I want to be a bodybuilder. This is what bodybuilders do.
Yeah.
So I can call myself that. Like
There you go.
even like the last like few shows, like even before stepping on stage, like I was still having my imposter syndrome. Like my clients might think otherwise, like friends might think otherwise.
They never
but-
saw it
right.
from you.
Yeah, like I'm still like learning, you know, like I don't know like all the answers to like health and
Exactly.
fitness, you know.
Yeah.
But I do the best I can. And it wasn't until like the Muscle Icon show where I was like backstage, like we're just like we went through prejudging already. Everything went pretty well. I was a little like in my head a little bit, like because I moved from center in classic, then they moved me to second. I was like, what? Like
Because that's kind of a sign, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
kind of a sign. Yeah.
And then usually, like they say, like prejudging, they kind of have an idea of like who will be winning for the most part, and then finals, it kind of just solidifies that. So I really just tried to just stay in the zone and just do the best I can, like follow the game plan, all that stuff. Keep in mind too, like I'm still like self-coaching. I didn't have like a coach like backstage or whatever, and so I'm just like backstage, just doing my thing, staying in the zone, like trying to like meditate when I can. And then one of the judges comes up to me, and it's pretty crazy. He's actually the 1983 Mr. Olympia,
That's right.
Mr. Samir Banut. So yeah, he just pulls me to the side, and then we just have like this quick conversation. And then he says like some pretty cool things, like gave me some pointers and all that stuff. And then he said some really like nice things about me, something that will really like stay like with my heart like forever. And really like I felt truly humbled like to hear that from a former Mr. Olympia. And if you really like put into perspective, like there's only like less than a dozen like Mr. Olympias that walk the earth. And
Damn. Yeah. Thinking about that.
and like the conversation I had with him, like
I mean, you don't have to say
that was
everything, but
epic,
like,
yeah.
what was like the main message you got from that conversation? Not what he said, but like what you got from it.
well, like basically he was a fan of my my physique. He said he liked the classic lines. I had a great like classic look, all that stuff. And yeah, like I'll say it, like if you want to just like put it out there, the comment he made, he was saying like the physique that I brought reminded him of the physique he brought. But I know that's that's very like
Hey, man.
like bold statement and everything.
Hey, the truth is the truth. If he saw it, that's why he said it.
That's why, like, I'm not like claiming anything. Like, I'm just an amateur, but like I do have like aspirations, like becoming pro, and
There you go.
just to like hear those kind words like from one of like the goats, like basically like was everything. And I just walked into finals like with my head high. He gave me some like posing tips to like really like bring out like the best in my physique, because you could kind of tell like when I stepped on stage, like for prejudging, like I was definitely nervous. It was my first time, and then finals came and it was just lights out. Like I just had the most like confidence out there. And when it comes to like peaking on stage, it's damn hard, like for sure. And like when I was talking with my buddy Hector, like we're co-coaches, like we're coaching Spencer, our athlete, and like I just pumping him backstage, and Hector was telling me like, dude, like you're peaking, and just right there, like I knew I had it in the bag.
Damn.
And once like no matter what happens, like whether you win or lose, like it's a win-win situation. Like I knew I was gonna win or learn. So that's something I said in the past, and really just have fun out there, just like embrace the moment, like get the crowd involved, like engage with the judges.
Yeah.
I started smiling more. Like prejudging, I was kind of like serious mode. Like I didn't really show much emotion, but finals came and I was really just trying to put on a show for like the family, friends.
Nice.
Definitely had like a big crowd and really getting like everyone involved. Yeah, it was definitely like a electric atmosphere.
Yeah.
And to share the win like with my family and friends again, it was definitely like a special moment. not only winning Menzies, but also winning Classic as well too.
Yeah.
On my first go around, so it was pretty awesome for sure.
Yeah.
But damn, like let me bring back the Menzies overall battle. I was battling this competitor. He won class C, I want to say. Jerry Espinoza, like shout out to you, bro. Great physique. We definitely put on a battle like on the overall. It was a lot of fun. I think we were probably like posing off for like a good like 10 minutes, and the judges were really like having a hard time.
You're talking about the overall, right? That last, I remember
like,
that.
The overall means like you're the winners of like your class. So like I won class A, there was a class B winner, C, D, etc. And so we're battling out, and we're just like having fun out there. And man, like it was just a blast, you know, like to really just feel like you're really putting it out there. A lot of times, like past shows, like you just step on stage, you do like a little like 10-20 second routine, and that's kind of like it. Like you do 12 16-week preps down to like 10-20 seconds, you know. It's
that's crazy.
It's insane, like the amount of time you put in, and just to be looked at just for like that short like little like fraction of like a minute.
Damn.
So it's really, that's like the name of the game. But yeah, like when you're like battling up there for the overall, it's just like you already won, and now you're trying to be like the best in that division that day. And to come out on top, like, but I know like we're all winners for sure, and but to come out on top that day like really like meant something for me. And to be the first ever back-to-back like Menzies Muscle Icon winner. I'll be back next year for that three-peat.
You're gonna go for it?
You could believe that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be a fun ride for sure. And then the next week, going into the NPC show, doing back-to-back peak weeks. This is my first time ever doing it, so it was definitely a challenge. Like usually after that first show, you kind of want to like go on like a food binge. Yeah, like, you want to just like enjoy. So it was. I did have a cheat meal after the Muscle Icon win, and to turn off your brain, like, okay, you got to stop. You have a show in less than a week, so back to grind mode come Sunday. So going into the second peak week, I actually had like another game plan, was basically just to keep it the same as like the week before, and then I actually had the honor of being coached by Chris Dim. Also, like he's a former like Olympian as well too. He also competed in the handicap like Olympics, Olympia as well too.
Oh yeah.
So he coached me.
Nice.
He gave me like the game plan as far as like the food preparation, timing, all that stuff. So to have like a Olympian like coaching you was like pretty awesome. And then going into like driving to San Diego, like it was just like Spencer and I. Oh, another like obstacle. So Hector, he ended up catching COVID during the second peak week.
He was supposed to go with you,
He was
right?
supposed to be with us.
Yeah.
And then my girlfriend, Janaea, she also caught COVID as well.
That's right.
And
dude,
if you didn't know, we live together, and I'm competing, but I'm also like trying not to get sick so I can compete. But I feel bad because like I gotta leave at some point, like while my girlfriend's like sick.
Yeah.
So it was definitely like a tough spot, challenged a lot for sure. But you know, like like that Pumping Iron movie where like Arnold, like where his dad passed away, and then his mom was telling him to come to the funeral, and he told her like, well, like I got a show to do, like I gotta stick with the plan. And not to be like that cold or whatever, like I did feel bad like leaving my girlfriend like while she was sick while I compete.
Of course.
She knew like how much this means to me, and knows that I gotta go to battle because this is like my dream, my passion.
Exactly.
And she's a big supporter of that. So you gotta really like have a strong support system. Like when you're doing this, you could do this alone for sure, but like when you have that support system, it makes it that much like easier, like on the mind for sure. Like just knowing.
But that's what's crazy is that like you have a big support system around you, but that also brings the risk of emotional waves. I'm telling you, like every like when they got COVID, and it's like that could easily knock someone off their game. how did you lock it back up and be like, all right, yeah, like this is my passion, it's my dream. I'm honestly curious. What was that conversation like with you and Janaea? Like for you to keep going?
Well, like it's kind of like easier for us because we've had this like protocol before where like if one of us gets sick, I had COVID like back in January, so we have like a good system already where
Nice.
we isolate each other. So she prepares like all my meals, and just like leaves it at the door or whatever. So we're like fully like no contact, all that stuff. So basically it was just in reverse this time. Made sure I was like up in my vitamin C. I was really trying to like just stay warm at all costs. Like really just like making sure like my health was a priority, even though you're trying to peak, and I was like sub like 6% body fat, and that's when your immune system is at its like worst.
I was gonna say like having that low a body fat percentage, that's unhealthy to the point where your immune system's fighting too.
Yeah, big time. So I really just gotta. I don't know how we did it, how we pulled it off, but hey, it managed like to work out. Where Spencer and I like both didn't get sick, and we both like got what we wanted like out of this whole like goal of ours. So yeah, we just stuck to the plan and just hope for the best. Sometimes you need a little luck, and it does help to have a little luck on your side. So we took care of that, handled business. We're on the way to San Diego, and we're like at check-ins, like they're doing like the weigh-ins for like the athletes, and it's a Spencer's first time like at an NPC event, so like just walking him through like the motions and all that, and me like being like the vet already, like I already know what to expect. And going back to San Diego like did have a lot of like emotional baggage for me, because that was the first time I ever competed, was in San Diego.
And that was back in when was that?
This was in 2017, and that's when I was like 27, I want to say. I had like high hopes, like, oh, okay, I'm gonna be the next like men's physique Mr. Olympia, blah blah blah, like all the confidence in the world. And then when I step on stage, I did horrible. Posing was terrible. Like I thought I had good conditioning. Usually, like your first show, like you don't really do as well as you think you are. So I had a lot of I had like a chip on my shoulder. Like I wanted to prove myself that I do belong. And typically from like LA shows versus San Diego shows usually bring like the top tier like athletes for sure. Sometimes like LA, you could have like maybe 3, 5, 7 athletes. San Diego probably had like close to like 20 plus like in my my class alone. So you're getting like the best of the best here. And to come out on top like in San Diego, like, so I didn't like win the overall this time. So men's physique happened. I got second place. I was actually at center at one point, and then it was like me and what's his name? I think his name is Jarvis. He's the one that took first place for open class A, and he had a great physique for sure. Good size, like great symmetry. Definitely deserves a win. So I could take a second to him that day. I'm man enough to admit that. But I still got the national qualification, so that was the first time for me. So I already knew like, okay, I got what I wanted already. So everything else is just gonna be the cherry on top. So I do classic physique, and immediately I am dead center.
Nice.
Like that means like you're the first place pretty much. So center is first, to the right is second, left is like third usually.
Yeah, because like they want to compare you to everybody on stage, so they put you in the middle.
Yeah, so I was dead center for prejudging and finals, and then going into the overall, it was me and like 4 other athletes, and I started off in the far right, and then they brought me to the center. Is between me and I want to say his name is Lee. I think he was the Class B winner, and it was basically between like him and I, and man, it was fun, like battling out there, like especially my first time doing a classic for NPC.
Nice.
And I didn't win the overall, but I did win a classic on my first go around. So I got 2 national qualifications, like for each division. So Now, yeah, your boy's going to nationals.
Hell yeah, dude!
Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
I think that what's crazy is like this whole story. Like even you coming back to San Diego. Yeah, like you said, like a lot of emotional baggage. You're walking around with a chip in your shoulder. This is like the last time you were there. It was not the best outcome. I think the real win, like man, everybody that's like facing something that they're taking this big risk, they're not even sure if they can do it. And if they know they're going to try, it's going to take everything. I think the biggest win is that you didn't lie to yourself. When you say you're going to do something and you made that decision, you're embracing all of it. Everything, all the tears, the injuries, whatever it is, to step on that stage for that 10, 15 seconds. The biggest thing that someone could do is to follow through with what they decided to. And I think as young men growing up, we always have these big dreams and ambitions. It's like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Then at the first sign of difficulty, it's like, oh, well, I did enough. Like, dude, the integrity that you shape when you say, like, you made the decision and then it gets hard. And then you try to tell yourself again, like, well, I said I was going to do it.
Hard was an understatement.
Dude, it will
yeah.
near impossible.
Yeah.
And then when it happens multiple times. But the best thing is you win because of integrity. You said you were going to do it and you did it. I mean, you get the win. I'm sure you're exhausted or whatever. But you are riding this like high wave of like emotion probably. When did it finally settle in after the competition?
I think it was when I saw my mom and my girlfriend's mom like in the audience.
Yeah.
Just I wasn't expecting to have a crowd for the San Diego show.
Yeah, San Diego. Yeah.
And then I saw even my girlfriend's mom. I call her Tita Linda. Mm-hmm. And then she even had Janaea on FaceTime like while I was doing like my finals, like getting the medal for the first place. So everything just felt like it was just like a beautiful experience, and I was just trying to like soak in everything. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it kind of like sunk in right away, just because like I've been wanting this for so long. A whole 16 weeks, 17-week prep, if you include the second peak week, basically. Yeah. I was just like eager. Like I wanted to win, and I was able to stay present and fully like appreciate everything. So yeah, the win last year with Muscle Icon like kind of took like a day to like let it like settle. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh man, this is new. Like, I don't know what to feel, all this stuff. But yeah, this time around, it's really just like, this is an awesome feeling, you know, like really when you like set out for something and you just like see it through no matter like the outcome and it's exactly what you wanted. So gratifying. And I want to just like pass this down to like my clients, like my other like friends, family, like whoever else is like watching this. It's really just do what makes you happy, you know, and don't settle for mediocrity. Just like do your best, you know, and try to be the best you can right at that moment. And if it seems like a tall order, it seems like it's out of reach, just one step at a time. Or what I tell my clients, just a one rep at a time, you know. End of the day, like you're just lifting weights, you're just posing on stage, you're just eating a meal, you're just doing a step for cardio. Mm-hmm. It's just these little like moments that we undervalue or overlook that is everything.
Yeah.
It's really just giving what the moment truly deserves.
Yeah.
Whatever's in front of you, you're in front of me right now, and I try to just be fully present for you.
Be here.
You know, that's what I do for like anyone that's like in front of me. That's what I really try to do best. And although I'm not perfect, like I know I have a lot to learn for sure. And there's a lot of things I could do better learning from this past prep, whether it was like fitness related or relationship stuff. Like I know like what I have to do like for the next time around.
Yeah.
And I'm already making those necessary steps to like improve myself, giving myself those daily reminders that, and even just being thankful for those who supported you along the way. Because dude, on those like low carb days, like when you're like super low energy, all that stuff, like it's the ones that care about you the most that you kind of like, you're super like reactive to. So I'm not proud of it. I'm not perfect, but I take ownership in it. And I really want to thank all those who supported me, who believe in me, and really just I hope they can see and I could really give the thanks back to them for putting up with me for the most part, and just like not giving up on me either, because there's some dark times for sure.
Yeah.
But they really know like how much it means to you, and when they really support it, you know, those are the real ones right there.
Yeah. That's what I get from you, man. It's not just a win. It's not just a trophy that you got. It's like who you became. Understanding life up to this point. I mean, I do see you like it's more so gratitude for the journey, gratitude for the
Absolutely.
people, rather than just the win, just the trophy. Obviously, like, you know, qualifying now for nationals, it's huge. And it's the beginning of another big journey that you're going to be on. But I think that's important for people to see, that you're more grateful for the journey, for the steps, for the people that were along the way to the top, right? To the mountain. Because at the end of the day, this is what really matters. Like you said, when you're doing the one step at a time, it's that one rep, but like you're building a body, you're going to be posing on stage for this performance, you're going to perform. But really, who are you becoming?
Exactly.
Because that competition is going to end. And then there will be a handful of competitions in your future. But then who do you show up to be with your friends? Who do you show up to be with your family? And any endeavor that we take as men, as people, it's who you really become. That's really going to shine through. That's really going to affect people. I see you as a coach. I'm like, dude, I'm pretty sure. I know, like, it's just different energy. Like when you got that coaching gig, it wasn't like, oh man, like I'm the shit now. It's more of like, oh man, I'm ready to work for these people.
Mm-hmm.
And
Service.
That's a beautiful thing.
End of the day, it's always about service first.
Yeah. And I definitely see like just the growth in your mindset, your physique for one, but your mindset, your energy, that it solidifies when you're giving to others and you're seeing them accomplish their things.
Super rewarding. Like, man, like just seeing my clients, like when they hit like PRs or they hit like a new low, like weigh in, like I'm like super happy for them. Like I cheer, like I give them like high fives. We give like sweaty hugs, like all that stuff. Dude, when they win, I win, you know, like when I win, they win, and vice versa. So it's all about like who you impact. Like it's about
Exactly.
like how you make people feel, you know, like a win is a win for that day only. People will get over it. And I really just try to stay like grounded and not let it like get to my head, and just think like what the greats do, like back to work on Monday.
Yeah. I feel like you just jumped straight into like what's next kind of thing. What is next?
Next, so we're going into off season. The coaches are saying let's put on some quality size. Well, first let the body rest, of course, and then we're gonna put on some size. And I mean, I'm just tired of like not letting like conditioning like be the obvious like choice like for a first place win. So I want to have the conditioning plus the size like the next time I step on stage. So this off season we're bulking for not sure how long yet, but I think the earliest show we might be doing could be early spring, but most likely it'll be mid to end of summer next year. So it'll probably be junior nationals or USAs. So there's going to be like around like the summertime. So when I stepped on stage, I weighed in at 153 for classic, and for my height, I have a weight cap at 160. So that means I have like at least like 7 pounds of muscle to like put on. So it's going to be a lot of fun to put on size. So now that I'm like bulking like with a purpose, like I have a game plan. I have people backing me, and I have a strong support system. So the next year I'm just like, I want it to happen already, but I know I have to like enjoy the ride, trust the process, because this is the dream. It's really just trusting like in yourself and understanding that it's a marathon, not a sprint. I could have easily jumped into like another like show and done nationals like a few weeks later, but I want to be patient with this. Let my knee like heal, of course, which it is healing pretty nice. Doing a lot of rehab work, strengthening, mobility, because when I put on the bulk, when I actually do start it, I want my legs to be strong as possible. Really make my recovery a priority. So be getting a lot of PT work done. That's something that most people like overlook too. Like you can push all this weight, you can bulk as big as you want, but you also got to think about your recovery time, because the faster you recover, the better you can perform. So that doesn't mean just like getting your protein in, getting your glutamine, whatever, foam rolling. You really gotta like have like a physical therapist, really like do some work on you, because man, like I didn't realize like how tight I was until like I actually started getting like work done regularly. So I've been feeling the difference already, and I actually feel like normal. Like I didn't know like what normal felt like, I guess. Like I was just like walking around like tight like all this time. Like just for one example, the left arch of my foot on my left foot is fully like collapsed. It's been pretty much like that like my whole life, and I didn't realize like that was the rippling effect that was like causing like my knee pain, upwards to like my IT band. So it's like, dang, it's like really a ripple effect. So really trying to correct that now. Really trying to like optimize like my body.
Yeah, I wanted to point that out. Like when you say earlier, like you push through the injury, and like obviously you're in competition mode. It's like warrior mode and all that stuff. What people should see from that though is like, yeah, there's a time to, push. There's a time to go all in and things like that. But there's also a time to have the yin side of the yang and recover. And
one step
take
back
your time.
for 2 steps forward.
Yeah. And that's super important. I mean, like you competing is not like the average person. Like I'm going to push through this because it's my like mentality. It's bigger rewards for those that like actually put the time and wait and recover, like not just physically, but mentally, emotionally too. That translates directly to anything that anybody else is going through. There's a time to push all the way, but there's also a time to be aware. And now like you're maintaining like a sense of normalcy, like, and it feels good. And if you feel good, that translates to your work. You're going to work well with people and everything. So
yeah, I mean, even in the off season too, like what most people like don't think about, like lean bulking is actually a lot harder than shredding at times.
You've said that to me before.
Yeah,
I'm like, damn.
because like when you're shredding, you have a set plan. Okay, I got to lose this amount of weight like every week to make sure I'm like on track to being shredded on stage. But when you're lean bulking, you don't really have like a clear set goal. Yeah, like you're kind of like bulking to a number, but you also want to like monitor and like minimize like the fat increase, because it is natural. Like you are gonna put on like a little bit of fat like when you're putting on size. It just makes
surplus,
sense. Yeah. So really, you just gotta make sure the fat is like to a minimum. Like you want to make sure like there's, I want to say like having like abs like showing, but like you want to like don't hover like past like 15% like body fat essentially. So like, you can hover around like maybe 12, like 13, 14, but like anything higher than 15, you kind of like, that's a dirty bulk pretty much already. So I really just want to like, I'll give myself a little bit more flexibility as far as like what I can eat or whatever, and not like be so hard on myself. But I do know that, okay, I have a set plan, and I want to treat this lean bulk like with the respect it deserves, and really just understand that it's about the goal, not the food. Like it is tough because I have a sweet tooth and a savory tooth, so it's tough for sure. So knowing like when to stop, like, and tell yourself, okay, just one more bite and that's it. It's hard as hell. So I understand. Like I'm normal too. Like I'm a fatty at heart, but I do wanna become pro, and I know like really what it takes. So I really gotta take this serious. So whatever the coach says, that's what I'll do.
Trust. The last thing I want to get to is something we were kind of talking about before we even started recording was you're prepping to basically be judged, right?
Right.
Like for a 10, 15 second routine or whatever.
A little bit more with classic, because you actually get like a full like posing routine. So you get like more like a 30 seconds, like a minute. So one thing I like about classic, you actually get to stay on stage a little bit longer, do actual like bodybuilding posing. Because like men's physique, you kind of just like, you're standing there for the most part, but you're just like angling yourself to look like your best. So
so you have a little bit like leeway, and you can take your time a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, as far as that goes, like with judgment, like you're literally being critiqued like every time you step on stage, right? to me, when we talk about social media and you posting stuff, and you're gonna get criticism, you're gonna get judgment by people who arguably aren't in the arena with you. For those people that are putting themselves out there, whether it's competing in bodybuilding or if it's content creation, what is your strategy to deal with those critics?
I just laugh at this point because they don't know me. They don't know like what I'm going through. I usually just tell them, thank you for your feedback. Not really much you can say like with that. There's no point in like arguing back and forth with people. So people are going to talk like regardless whether you do good or bad. So you really just got to have like thick skin and let go of the things that don't really matter. Control what you can. You can't control what people say, but you can control like your own reactions. Yeah. So that's everything. It's all about how you respond. So it took some time to learn, but that's like the ultimate comeback. What I learned, like you just tell them, thank you for your feedback. Like, what do you say to that? You know?
True. You can't keep getting mad at somebody that appreciates you. Exactly.
So people are going to talk regardless. So just let them. It's fine. It's a free country, free speech, whatever.
Yeah, very true. Very true. And like, that's the thing. You put yourself out there too, like with your channel on Instagram and stuff. And much respect. And that's the thing. What you're pointing out, it's like you can't really knock someone for going all in and believing in themselves and putting positivity out there.
And also too, it's like knowing your worth. You know, you're going to let, there's like almost 8 billion people in this world. You're going to let one person ruin your day.
True.
Like, that used to bother me before, but now like I know my worth. I know those like who I do value like their opinions, and that one little comment isn't going to like mess my day up for sure.
100%. Yeah. Congratulations. I respect what you do, man. And it's always good to have you back. And it's going to be recurring, obviously, to see how far you go with this. And I know you're going far. I know that's the goal. Right?
Thank you, bro. So, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for being on The Broken Instruments, brother.
Got you. Yeah, happy to be on. Thank you.